If you're looking for an easy way to analyze the US30 market, you're in the right place because we're going to simplify this market, come up with a game plan for this upcoming week, and then also identify potential entry, exit, and profit target zones. So let's just hop right into the video. And this week, I'm not going to redraw all of my lines like I normally do. If you want to see how I did all of this markup, then go ahead and check out last week's video. So that way you can get a deeper sense of how all of these levels are drawn. And basically, as you can see from this past week, this played out to the downside. And I don't even remember if I really had a true game plan for the upside, mainly because price had already came up so much and consolidated. But anyway, price came down. You can see this was so many points inside of the market. So we'll see how this next week unfolds. So let me go ahead and clear some of this stuff off of my chart just to make it a little bit neater. And then we're going to hop on to the higher time frame. So let's go to the weekly time frame and straighten this up a bit. So as we can see, as we saw on the hour time frame that we were just on, we're going to make some adjustments and then go back to that. But basically, as we can see, there was a huge bearish candle for this past week. This was 800 plus points, which is a lot of points inside of the US30 market. The fact that it did sell off so much this past week makes me think that there's an opportunity for continued sales or potential reversal for this upcoming week, mainly because we're approaching this key level right here at 43,715. And if we reject this, or the fact that we didn't break this level, tells me that there's some hope, but we'll get a lot more details and clues when we go down to the lower time frames. So for right now, this level, or at least this time frame, is looking good, and I'm not going to change anything. Let's go down to the daily time frame and see if there's something that we can adjust here. So wow, very clean, very bearish candles that came down. And we can see very clearly now that price has not broken this key level. And this was a key level mainly due to this price action over here from last month. And keep in mind that we're on the daily time frame. So every single candle here represents one day, one trading day. And the fact that price made a support here, pushed up, and then it came down and broke it and then came back up. So basically it was just kind of a roller coaster on this market, but price could have easily broken this level, but it didn't. So that gives me some hope for next week. But then we also need to keep in mind that next week there's FOMC. So FOMC is the Federal Open Market Committee, and that's when they can potentially make the decision to raise rates depending on how inflation looks, or lower the rates, or keep the rates the same. So that could mean some drastic swings for the US30 market. We just don't know how that's fully going to play out because we don't know what it's going to be. If you read any news, there's going to be a lot of speculation, but the only true news that matters is what Jerome Powell at this point will say about inflation and the interest rates. We got to stay tuned for that. So anyway, so looking at these levels, I like this level right here at 45,000, almost flat. And then I did draw kind of a level here. So we're going to go down to lower time frames and it may make a little bit more sense. But if we pay attention to the yellow lines, these are going to be the key levels. And this level here is going to stay the same. I'm not going to make any changes. Same with these other levels. I really don't see anything that I need to change because price didn't affect these levels because price didn't even come here. Price was only concentrated in this zone right here. So the only changes will probably be in these zones only. So let's go down to the H4 time frame. All right, now we have a lot more information that we can glean from the market. So looking at these levels, actually, I'm going to get rid of these black lines for now because they are distracting. Oh, I remember now. So I did want to break up these levels. So right now we got new market structure. So we're going to draw new lines based on that. So, but for right now, this is looking great. This is also looking great. Still maintaining the support here. And then right here at 43,715, this is still looking great. So nothing to change on H4. Now let's go down to H2. Now that we have a lot more data and a lot more candles, now we can clearly see what's happening inside of the market and really nothing to change here. So let's go ahead and go down to H1 because I suspect that in order for us to come up with our game plan for the upcoming week, we may need to add some additional levels, and these will basically serve as minor levels, as the yellow ones that I drew last week are the key levels. Based on what I'm seeing, I don't want to change any of the lines, but I do want to add some key levels, or at least some additional levels, mainly because if we measure this distance from this key level to this key level, that's 800 points right there, and that's a really big zone. So we want to break it up so that way we have some tradable zones. And the same for this level here. We are at 44, let's just say 50 or 44,500 on this market. And we can see that this is almost 600 points inside of the market. So definitely a really big zone that we probably could trade depending on your trading strategy. But generally we want to break it up so that way we can catch any move in chunks and not try to catch the whole thing. So that's typically how I trade. I try to get little slivers of the move, get my money, get out, wait for a pullback or some sort of correction, and then hop back in. So that's typically what I do. So let's go ahead and mark off a level. So really obvious for me. Right here, based on this market structure point, this looks like it could be a potential level, but the fact that we got new market structure, I want to actually move this up to right there. Okay, so this level is now 44,000, almost flat, which is great. And we do see, let me zoom in a little bit, focusing on most recent price action, and we do see a support that has been formed a couple of times in the zone, and then we also had a reaction off of this level, so making it a really nice level that we could potentially trade from. And then I do want to possibly mark off this level right here. This is at 44,300 flat almost, mainly due to the same reasons, a support here, not multiple supports. And then we did have some sort of fake out here and then a resistance level that has formed and then it sold off. So that is looking good. And if we measure super quick, then we can see that these are tradable zones. So this is 200 points right there. This one is about 270 points right there. And then this zone from here to here is 320 points roughly. So these are really tradable zones, really nice zones. And that's probably all I'm going to draw for right now. But let's just say hypothetically, if price was to continue its downward trend, I could see price potentially going back up to possibly here or possibly coming all the way back up here and then breaking this level at 43,715 roughly, and then coming all the way down here. But before we make that assumption, let's just measure this. And we can see very clearly this is about 730 points inside of the market. So in order for us to find some tradable zones, we have to look left. And we have to see where the market has left us clues as to where price action could start or stop. So if we take this horizontal ray tool, I really like this level right about here at 43,463. Now this is really close to 43,500. And the reason why I like this level is because we do have a lot of resistances all throughout this area before price finally breaks. And we can see that price tapped into the zone right here. It did leak the level a little bit, but it did come back up and then make this really strong push to the upside. So the first idea is price coming back down somewhere into this zone, possibly this being the first target. And then if we draw another horizontal ray, I want to say about here. And I'm basing this on market structure. So this level is 43,270 roughly. And I think that's a good tradable zone. So if we measure super quick, a lot of measuring here. So trading, or at least the execution piece of trading, is only a very tiny portion of actual trading. So it's doing the analysis that takes the longest. So 140 or 184 there. And then right here, 275. Okay, got it. And this one was pretty decent. I didn't call it out. So this one was about 250. Great. So these are really tradable zones. So price could potentially come here or here or here or leak it like it did before and then come up. So, I mean, we just have to, I like having these. I kind of see these as kind of like guides for price action. And I'm actually going to draw another level right here at 42,800. Let's just say 42,900. It's really close to that. So, so these are potential price levels for downward momentum to hit. So let me just go ahead and do that here. My bias is bearish on this market, especially because I'm seeing a huge correction that's happening here. And the thing to be cautious of on the downside is that price will not sell off forever. There comes a point where price may bounce. So just kind of looking at any of these levels as potential bounce off areas, especially right here, because it did make a huge bounce before, but it could bounce off of any of these areas basically and then reverse and go to the upside. So that's just something to be cautious of. The plan would be sells pretty much down, I would say down to this key level, just understanding that these levels could be targets as well. And then for the upside, the only way I would entertain really a buy in this zone is if price broke structure here and continue to push up. So this zone right here, we already measured it. So it will be from here to here, and then also from here to here. Now, one thing to note, this price action throughout here is a little choppy. So it may be, a little rough, but with enough momentum, it'll just cut through all of that. And then of course, if price is back above this level right here, this level of 44,500, then price could potentially push up. And we've seen these really strong reversals inside of this market. I mean, we just witnessed one right here where price came down and then it totally reversed. Actually, let me draw this out. So price made this move right here, and then it totally reversed. Let me get the arrow. Totally reversed right here, pushing up past this previous high right here and making a much newer high all the way there. And now we're seeing the correction that is happening now, where we had this really big move and now it's correcting it almost completely. So it would be really interesting to see how FOMC is going to affect the prices for next week. So anyway, so this is a game plan for US30 for this upcoming week. I really hope that you were able to follow along. Please watch this multiple times because there will be things that I've said that will really make sense as you watch these videos over and over again. It's just part of the process. It's what you have to do in order to be consistent in this game, and I will see you in the next video.